Alrighty, and I see that we have our wonderful participants joining us here today for cooking with the global majority with our wonderful chef Kareerma. We're just gonna give everybody a second or two to get their mics and their cameras up and running, and anybody else who is going to be joining us in the next little while. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for taking the time on your Tuesday evening to join us today. We are very excited to have you guys here. My name is Nabil Rahman. I'm a community development specialist at the town of Oakville. I just want to let everybody know that this very special program is in fact brought together by the town of Oakville, the YMCA of Oakville, Halton Black Voices, uh, the Food for Life, and obviously a special shout out to Chef Kareerma, who has come all the way from Toronto to be here today. And we're going to see the wonderful dish and meal that she is going to be making. Right before we do that, I just want to very quickly acknowledge the land that we are on, which is Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, and understand that they are the true stewards of this land and that we all have a responsibility to treat this land with kindness, to treat this land with gratefulness and gratitude. And sometimes just acknowledging that we're on this land might not necessarily be enough. Sometimes we have to reflect what being on this land truly means. So, an activity that has been shared to me by my Indigenous friends has been sometimes all we can do is just look out our window or just peek outside to see what Mother Earth has provided for us. And how can we be grateful for Mother Earth? Because Mother Earth was here way before we ever were on this earth and will be around way after we leave. So we thank you so much for Mother Earth, for everything that she has provided for us. And as we go on to the program, before we head to that, just some quick rules of participation very quickly. We love and encourage everybody to participate. So please feel free to use the chat box to communicate. You can also look for the hand up feature if you want to have any questions. You can privately message me if there are any questions or challenges with technology. Unless otherwise instructed, let's keep ourselves on mute. Most importantly, let's respect one another and each other's perspective. And this program is also being recorded. So with that being said, I want to very quickly pass it over to Chef Kareerma and Janelle Thomas from Halton Black Voices. Guys, take it away and tell us what wonderful dish we're going to be making today.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Nabil, for that wonderful introduction. And again, thank you, Chef Kareerma, for taking the time to do this.
You're welcome.
As a community, we greatly appreciate it. And tonight, we're going to make
Paratha roti. Roti,
roti.
not roti, as some of us like to call it. But yes, we're going to make a paratha roti, aka bus of shot. And curry chickpeas with chana, we call it chickpeas, we call chana, and potatoes. And we have some of the ingredients here. And yeah, you want to get started?
Yeah, so this is a vegetarian option. If you guys would like to add a protein or a meat to it, feel free. Chicken is great. Shrimp is great.
Shrimp is easy to make.
Shrimp is easy as well. So if you do have a meat alternative that you would like to add, feel free to add that as well.
And there we go.
Fantastic. Chef Kareerma, if I can ask you a question, what is roti?
Roti is from. So I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. My parents are. I'm first generation Canadian. Roti is bread, basically. So East Indians that came over to Trinidad, where the Africans were, they brought their food. We had our food, and then roti in parts of India is bread. So it's basically flat bread, is what roti is. Naan is bread, right? So it's just basically flat bread, and it's delicious. Flour, water, some baking powder, some salt. Very simple. But that's the base for like a lot of West Indian starches. We have the boiled dumpling, fried dumpling. Some people we call it fried bake, festival, and then bread itself. So that's the basic ingredients to start those other dishes.
Fantastic. So this roti, in fact, is from everywhere in every part of the world and it's truly a fusion food. if you think about it, right? Like the idea is the East Indian, folks that went over to the Caribbean, and it's now been infused to have a very West Indian Caribbean flavor, and that's what we're gonna be eat. That's what you're gonna be making today. So excited. What are we? How do we go about making it, chef?
All right, well, we're gonna start with some flour. You know what I forgot for? The water. We're gonna start with 2 cups of flour. You wanna do this?
Sure.
2 tablespoons of baking powder.
Toss it in.
Toss it in. 1 teaspoon of salt. And Chef Laura is getting me some water that I totally forgot to have on hand.
You may need this back.
Thank you.
If you're cooking with a partner or with your family members today, we've also prepped a few things. So feel free to dice up and cut up your potatoes. And also, if you have can of chickpeas, have that prepared and out in the bowl as well.
And if you don't want to go with the cans, some people are I want from the ground. You can get the bags of chickpeas that are dry, soak them overnight, and they'll be ready for you. So this was 2 cans, so 2 cups of chickpeas soaked overnight, 24 hours. Okay, so now if you want to do that. So what I like to do when I'm,
Throw it all in?
not yet,
Oh.
when I'm making the dough, I've learned this from my East Indian Trinidadian friends, that you add a little bit of fat. So you can either use margarine or ghee or oil. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of oil just to make the kneading process a little easier. And now we can add the water, and then we're just gonna knead with your hand, or you can use a stand mixer. And then we just
Chef, in your experience, does it taste better when you make it with your
with
hands?
your hand. Yeah, yeah, it does, but it takes. We're good, we're good, we're good, we're good. Yeah, it tastes better with your hand. So you want to get all of the wet into the dry flour. Sometimes you might have to add a little bit more flour if it's too wet, but I think we're actually okay. And then you just knead about a minute. And if you don't want to do that, just get the hook for the stand mixer, and it'll knead it for you, and you're good to go. And then you don't have to wear gloves. So we're just gonna knead it away, and here we are, pretty much done. Right?
Awesome.
And so we're gonna cover it for 30 minutes. But with the magic of TV, we already have it ready to go. So cover this with either a damp cloth or plastic wrap for 30 minutes, let it sit, and then we're gonna have it just like this. And I'm just gonna move everything over to this side. Okay. All right. Is there any questions so far, anybody? Are we okay?
We're more than okay, chef. We're very excited to see what the next process
Sorry,
looks
so
like.
I'm still working, so I'm getting a call, so give me 1 second.
Oh, don't worry. And for those of you guys who don't know, chef, feel free to take the call. Chef has a very busy restaurant in Toronto, and the restaurant is actually currently operational right now. So she's just attending to that. That's how busy chef is, and she's taking the wonderful time out of her busy day to be with us today, to be with you all today. But I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Food for Life. All the ingredients that you're seeing here today has been donated to us by our wonderful partners, Food for Life. And for those of you guys who don't know, Food for Life has been a fantastic partner in all our other initiatives as well, cooking with rescued food, and all such wonderful things like that. So huge shout out to Food for Life for making that happen. And we also have Janelle. Janelle with us here today. So as chef is taking that call. Janelle, you want to tell us a little bit about Halton Black Voices and what it is that you do there?
Yeah, so I'm one of the co-founders of Halton Black Voices. We are a grassroots organization that started last summer. And what we do is that we bring families and individuals together in a safe Black space to empower, uplift, and inspire one another. So with this cooking show, Cooking with the Global Majority, is one of those initiatives where we are making space for ourselves, for each other, to embrace our culture and the foods and the spirits that we have, that we all hold. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and what better way to do that than with food, right,
Mhm.
Janelle and Chef Karima? It is something that brings people to the table, right? It's a great conversation starter, and it's something that can propel us to learn so much more about ourselves, but also the people and folks that we live with in our communities. So Chef, hopefully everything is okay
Yes.
in your restaurant, and so what are we doing next?
Okay, so now we're just gonna dust the counter, your counter space where you're cooking, with some flour, right? Just to roll out the dough, right? So we're gonna roll it out. And then there's like 3 parts to it. So we're gonna roll it out. Yeah, there's too much stuff here. Sorry, Nabil, we gotta move some things.
Oh, no worries.
All right. Thank you. So we're gonna roll it out, not too thin. So about that, right? And you're gonna cut it. So because you did 2 cups, this is gonna give you 2 balls, okay? You're gonna cut it in half. All right, Danielle? And, oops, what is that? Oops. So then we're gonna take this now and knee it into another ball, okay? So now you can't use the mixer for this. You actually have to use your hands. So you're just gonna knead and roll the flour into a ball. If you wanna twist it at the end, you can, and there's your ball, right?
Perfect.
So now we're gonna do the second one.
So you're just folding in all the sides into the center.
Exactly. Gonna do a little twist, and then we're gonna have it like that. We're gonna place a little bit of oil on top, and let it set for like 10 minutes. In that meantime, we're gonna start on the curry, chana, and potatoes while this is sitting. And then we'll come back to it and tell you what to do with it.
Perfect.
All right. So now, I'm gonna start. So, you know, we didn't test the stove. So is it just press and turn? Okay. Oh, light. There we go. Okay, so can everybody see what we're doing? We have
Yes,
the
Chef.
stove on with our pot, right? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna add some oil. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil to coat the bottom, not a lot. Just maybe 2 tablespoons of oil, okay? Now, if you had your garlic, you're gonna put your garlic cloves in the oil. This is we're going very West Indian right now. So we're going to burn, but not blacken, the garlic to give it an aroma for the oil. And where's my curry? Oh, here it is. So we're gonna take some of our curry.
What type of curry is it?
So this curry, you can get any curry from anywhere. I like using traditional West Indian curry. So I actually have 3 in here. I have a Jamaican curry, I have a Trinidad curry, and I have a Guyanese curry.
Oh, so you're allowed to mix
You
different.
can!
Oh,
Yes,
learn something.
Janelle, you can. So we're not gonna name drop because we're not being sponsored. So any West Indian restaurant, grocery store will have any of those curries, and just ask them for the curry section, and they will show you, and you have choices.
Yep.
Being Trinidadian, I clearly am biased. I mostly use Trinidadian curry, but for this one, I said, you know what? Let me give you all 3 curries in one.
Perfect.
Right? Okay, so I don't know if you can hear it. Can you guys smell it? How the garlic is already bringing up the aroma? Okay, so now, back home, what we do, we take some of the curry. You can either put it straight in there and burn it. I like to add a little bit of water and then let it burn. Don't ask me why we say that.
Brown it.
Brown it, but we say burn. I don't know why we say burn
Burn the
it.
curry.
I don't know why we say burn. I'm gonna have to ask my auntie that. Why? Thank you. Why do we say? We might need a little bit more. Why do we say burn the curry? So now the garlic.
sorry, just a quick question. How do we know our garlic is burnt but not blackened? Like, what's that fine line that we know we're not overcooking it too much?
So right now, it's golden brown. And you can hear it from the oil. And then just keep an eye on it. So by the time I mix up the water and curry, it'll be ready to be added, right? Now, if you want to add a little bit more East Indian, West Indian flair, you can add some cumin, right? So that also gives it off a nice aroma too. So we're going to add the curry and water. It might make some noise, don't be afraid. Sorry, can you take a few hints? And then just whisk it around, and we're good. Nothing much. You're gonna let it cook for like a minute or 30 seconds. You don't really want it to evaporate, because then we're gonna add the potatoes and the chickpeas. Now, if you wanted to, you could have seasoned this all up, but because vegetables take on the seasoning very quickly, you don't have to. I do sometimes, just to cut down on anything. And if you have the extra time, why not? But today we're just gonna do it off the top. So we're gonna add the potatoes. Thank you, Laura. Then we're gonna add the chickpeas. If you wanna stir while I'm doing that,
Yep.
go ahead. You're fine right here. Okay. Get the curry from the bottom. And if you feel like you need to add a little bit more liquid, you can. If you want to use vegetable stock or beef stock, but this is vegetarian, you should use vegetable stock. But some people still like to get the extra flavor from other broth. You can use chicken or beef, right? But because it's a straight plant-based that we're doing, we're going to use vegetable stock and or water. So now we have some garlic powder. I'm going to add about a tablespoon. We have a little bit of turmeric. Turmeric is also in curry as one of the ingredients. That's what gives it the yellow color. So I like to put a little extra, right? Thank you.
Chef, just a question. How much water went into the curry?
Right now, I'm gonna say it's gonna be, right in the beginning was like probably half a cup. Now we're gonna just put 1 cup. Yeah. Just to help cook the potatoes. Because the chickpeas in the can is already pretty much pre-cooked, and then they put in a can, right? So you're really just letting it cook with the potatoes. Then we're gonna add some black pepper. We chopped up some onions earlier. I can have Chef Laura show you how to chop some onions. We're gonna add it to the pot. If you want to learn how to chop, she did a very good job.
Do you need more onion, Chef?
Star sous chef.
You know what? Yes, let's add that. We can add that one.
Okay.
And if you have any thyme, fresh thyme, if you don't have fresh thyme, you can also always use dry thyme. So we're gonna add that in there. I make a green seasoning. So with the green seasoning, it pretty much has everything that you would need if you didn't want to have it as a seasoning. So you have your onions, your thyme. We use this herb called shadow benny, which is our version of cilantro. It has the same smell. So if you can't find the shadow benny herb, then you can use cilantro. It'll give you the same smell, you know? I don't know if you can smell that. There's peppers, there's ginger, there's garlic, onions, and the cilantro. If you want to add that in there.
How much?
You can add the whole thing. Go for it. Right? And then if you want, this is all purpose, where you only find at West Indian restaurants. I've tried regular big box grocery stores don't have all purpose. So this is just a mixture of like every seasoning. So if you don't have the salt, if you don't want to have all these dry ingredients, you could just use this. Pretty much all purpose. It could go on anything, vegetables, fish, goat, beef, whatever you like. Okay, you can add that. And some of them have salt. This one is okay, so we're okay on that. And to give it a little kick, you add some pepper, either Scotch bonnet or pepper sauce. We're gonna do both. Just use half of that.
Okay.
Thank you, Laura. And then I'll just put a little, yes, exactly, a little bit of that. And we're good to go. And that's just gonna cook. We're gonna stir it up and cover that.
And it's on high, so
It's
we
on,
cover
and
it?
there, yep, we're gonna put it down to medium
Okay.
to let it cook, covered. So while that's cooking, then we start on the roti. And if you feel like, oh no, I feel like that's actually really good. Yeah. If you're feeling like your curry doesn't look curry enough, you can always add more powder. Okay? And hold on, if you want, there's masala. You can add that too. Should we add the masala?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna add the masala.
Making,
Chefs, I feel like there's really a lot of liberty with this recipe, right? Like you can match it to your taste with regards
Yes.
to the spice level, the types of curry that you might even want to use. So it's really quite flexible with your palate, right?
Yeah, it is. It really is. And you eat curry.
Yes.
Where's your background?
I'm Jamaican.
Right.
I'm Canadian, second generation Canadian, but my heritage is Jamaican.
Jamaican, right? And so you use Jamaican curry.
I use Jamaican curry.
Exactly, right? So Jamaican curry on goat is amazing. I like it on the chicken too, but Jamaican curry on goat, oh my gosh. Just a whole different,
So good.
it's just a whole different thing. But for roti, with just the basic, like either chicken or the chana and potato one, Trini curry to me. I feel like Trinidad curry for roti is it. And if you want curry goat, Jamaican curry with a nice white rice and coleslaw. Whew. Okay. So what we're gonna do, cause the camera, right? So you wanna move?
You have to switch
Yeah,
these?
yeah, let's switch these. Okay, I'll take up this one. Okay. You take up that one.
We have a fantastic camera person, so don't worry about chef. They will maneuver it accordingly.
All right. So, oh, not wrong one.
And then for those of us who joined just a couple of minutes late, just to let you guys know, we're making roti, which is a flatbread, traditional West Indian, East Indian style roti bread. And we're making chana and potato or chickpeas potato curry to go along with it. So we are very excited to be joined by Chef Kareerma and Janelle. And we have Chef Laura, who's also on camera screen. So just a huge shout out to them. And I think right now we're getting prepared to make some delicious, wonderful roti.
Okay, so we're gonna go with that one first. Yes. So the process goes really quickly. So having 2 sets of hands is perfect. So someone rolling and someone putting it on the tawa. We call it a tawa. If you don't have one of these, don't ask me where the name came from. I don't. I just grew up calling it tawa. Do you know? Do you know, Nabil, why it's called a tawa?
Well, I think that's the Indian name for it's called a tawa in Hindi and Urdu. And I think it's because it's flat, so it's easier to make roti with it. Whereas like a pan would have that curved edge, which makes it harder to move around. But I am no historian, but we call it tawa in the East Indian culture as well.
Right. So now if you don't have one of these, if you have a flat grill, like a griddle, that works too. And if you don't have any of those,
Would a cast iron pan work?
cast iron could work too, but what is
Or a crate.
frying pan? Why
Frying
wasn't
pan, yeah.
frying pan wasn't coming to if you only have a frying pan, it will work too. Okay, so I'm gonna oil this and Chef Laura and Janine,
Okay.
are gonna roll that out. Okay? You can do that too if you
So you
like.
do that, and then, okay, do I add more flour to the top?
A little bit. If it's too oily for you, yes.
Maybe a little bit.
Okay?
Okay, and then roll.
And then roll. Do you remember what we did with this one, Laura?
I do.
All right. So we're gonna put a little slice in it. Very good. Yep. We're just heating up the pan in the meantime. Want to hit that part right.
Neil and Chef Laura, you guys are looking like pros.
Yeah.
Have you done this before?
No.
No.
I actually don't even own a rolling pin.
Okay, so now you're gonna stop. You're gonna stop for a second. So I already showed Chef Laura what to do. So go ahead, put a slit in it.
Okay.
Right, and then just
Sorry,
yeah,
are
go
you
ahead.
okay with me?
Okay,
Of course.
so then we're gonna add a little bit of oil to it. There's a whole process, but once it's all finished and you start, it goes really quickly. If you have an hour, you can get this done. The roti part. Okay, so We're gonna now take the edge and roll it into a cone. Continue.
Okay.
Yep, continue. Teaching as we teach.
Teaching as we
Teaching
teach.
as we teach.
Teaching as we learn.
Right, okay, and then you're gonna,
I saw it.
Yep,
And then you
and
went
then
like this.
just push it down.
And then you go,
Woo! Right, exactly.
the sound effects is optional. but
Exactly. So
encouraged.
then we're gonna put this to the side. We're gonna put it to the side. We have some already nicely ready to go, so now we're gonna dust again. And you guys are gonna roll this out thinner than the last time, okay? And once you do that, I'm going to oil the pan. So if you don't have a brush that is for heat, why is my brain not working? What is this called?
A pastry brush?
A pastry brush, but no, why is it to go on fire?
Heat
Resistant, heat resistant. Heat resistant brush. You can also use paper towel, paper bag. That's what I grew up using. But funny enough, they actually have like little mini mops that you could use as well. So there's many, many ways to just get the oil on the pan, but it has to be the pan has to be covered. Yep,
How big?
okay, like that. Okay, so what I'm gonna show you now.
Hers is better.
Hey, chef, and we have a request from our good friend Kara. If you guys, because I think we kind of went over it quickly, but I think it's worth it too. Can we see the rolling and how you made that slit and you made that little cone
Yes.
one more time for those of our participants who are following along?
Let's use this one.
Oh,
We can use that one.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Did you want?
yeah, go
Do
ahead.
you want to? You
I
guys.
showed you, so go ahead.
So you take
this
the,
one.
oh, sorry. Take the slit right here, and then
You're gonna put a little bit of oil.
on top,
Yep,
just brush it.
brush it all over. Mm-hmm.
It's like you're painting a wall,
Mm-hmm.
and then you cone it. So you just kind of turn it
Yep.
and let it roll like a clock. Actually it's clockwise. Clockwise, maybe counterclockwise on film. But
Well, if you're left-handed, it would
if
be
you're
fine.
left-handed. And then it looks like a Christmas tree, and then you tip it, put it on this flat end at the bottom, and then you push down, just like that.
Just like that. And then from that, you're gonna roll it out. Okay, oops, right? And if you want it to be even a little bit thinner, you can go around and pull. Like pizza, but you're not throwing it up in the air, but you're gonna just pull as you go around. Pull, pull. Just to let it, get a little thinner, because sometimes not all rolling pins are made alike.
So if you don't have a rolling pin at home, what are some alternative?
A wine bottle,
Ooh, I've got plenty of those.
a rum bottle, a pop bottle, but you want it to be smooth. You want it to be smooth, right? So we're gonna go with this one. Okay, ladies, I'm gonna get you all to roll the other one.
I'll let you do it.
You go ahead. I
Okay.
can work on it.
Okay, and then I'm gonna put this now on the tawa or frying pan, right? Whichever you want. And then it should start to bubble up from the oil. So the first one always takes a minute. I don't know why with everything like that. Every time you do the first one, it doesn't go the way it should be. But if you look, it's starting to bubble up here. Can you see? All right, so we're gonna put some oil. So you have to oil the pan, you have to oil the roti. Because when you flip the roti now, it'll be ready to not stick.
And
How's
chef,
that?
do we make the cone because we want the flakiness or the?
Yes, that's part of it. That's part of it, yes. And then also, I don't know what the other reason. I just know that's what you're supposed to do.
We're gonna
some-
go with
some
flakiness. There we
recipes
go.
are just generational, and that's how you learn to do it, and you didn't ask
Yes.
questions. But part of it is because of baking. Yes, part of it is for the flakiness. So you see how it's starting to bubble up here? This one is gonna take a little bit longer than the other ones because this is the first one going on the pan. But it's still gonna have the same outcome. So what we're gonna do, when I flip it, oh, let's check the curry.
I think the best recipes are the ones that come from the great grandmothers or the great aunts that you can't even They won't even write it down on paper for you. They'll just,
Nope, you just have to
you
watch
gotta
it.
be there to learn.
Exactly. And then you don't know what, how much of this goes in or how much of that. I don't know. So look, you see how there's bubbles? Can y'all see that? Can you see that, Nabil?
We can see that. Yeah, we can slightly see that. Chef, just a question: how hot should the tawa be, or
That
the
should be hot. It should be hot.
It should be hot. Okay.
It should be hot that you're afraid to even think
About touching.
about touching it. You don't want no part of your skin touching this pan.
Right.
Frying pan, the towel, whatever you're using, that's how hot you want it to be, right? But like I said, the first one always, you want it to be, it should, like, you see how that looks? Can y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, just waiting for the other side to catch up. Oh, there we go. All right, so we're gonna flip it. So, this is a pastry. What is this, Laura?
That's an offset spatula.
This, I'm not a pastry chef, I'm a chef, okay? This is an offset
Offset spatula.
spatula. Or you can have a regular spatula. You'd want either heat resistant or metal. Do not use plastic or else you'll have plastic roti. Just saying, just saying.
It's too hot.
Okay, so now we're gonna flip it. Right?
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. So again, it won't take long. Just dust it a little bit with some oil if you want. So we're gonna put it in. Now, if you have, like we're talking about the grandmothers, if you have those grandmother hands, you could take this right off the heat and go like that. We don't have those hands. We're gonna put it in this and shake it.
I've got first Canadian generation hands.
Exactly. Exactly. Soft, right? Yeah, we don't do that here. We don't do that here. Okay, so then we're just gonna, yes, coming along very nicely. So when I put it in here, I'm gonna let you cover it. You shake it like a salt
Shake
shaker.
it like outcast.
Yeah, salt shaker. Right,
Is
some of
that called
Miami.
clapping the roti? Is that what we're trying to do here?
yes. So we're gonna clap it in a plastic container where it's safe.
Right. And why do we do that?
Because this one is called bus up shot. So remember, it's I was telling you all. So the bus up shot, and then jokingly we call it bus up shirt. So burst up, we're very trying in it right now. So ripped apart. So it's already pre-ripped apart. So you're gonna use this one and you're gonna eat it with your hand. Where the other roti, which is called Dal Roti, you wrap it up, and you can eat it as like what a lot of people like to call Trinidadian burrito, right? So shake it, girl. Shake. So now, see how I'm saying? Right now, look how hot this is. We're gonna go straight to the next one.
How long do I shake it for?
Not that long. Open it up. Yes, you see how some of it show them? See how some of it kind of.
You can see how it's kind of broken up a little
Yeah, so
bit.
if you're feeling like you want it to be a little broken up some more, you can.
Very nice.
And as somebody who has eaten, when you clap the roti, I don't know the science behind this, chef, and I'm sure you might not either, but like it tastes better. Like it just
When
tastes,
you eat it with your hand, right?
yeah,
Oh,
when you eat it with your hands and you clap the roti, like it's more flakier. And it's one of those grandmother's past recipe, but it makes a difference. So I highly recommend you do what Janelle just did. Just shake it in a tub, and you'll notice the flakiness is different, and even the texture slightly changes a little bit when you do that.
right. Now, I hope you all didn't forget, you still have your curry on the stove, right? So I already stirred it, and I'm looking at it. It smells so good. So we're gonna get a spoon and taste it to see if we need to add any seasoning. Might want to add a little bit more heat or a little bit more salt. So I'm going to get Chef Laura and Janelle to taste it and see what they think. If we need to add anything
I know what I
else.
think. It smells
It
delicious.
smells delicious.
I'm just stepping off camera because I've got to pull my mask. So
I can volunteer too, chef, if you need me to come down and try
You want
the
to come on?
quality control.
oh wow.
Do we need anything?
Oh,
I don't think so.
No, okay, so see? So sometimes you can get it right off the bat. And we didn't add any salt. Like I said, with the all-purpose, has a little bit. Sometimes you do need salt with curry, sometimes you don't. And this time, ladies, we do not need salt.
Perfect.
Now we just have to low down the stove, which I did, down to a low. And now we came back. You want to flip it?
Sure. Let me
Alright,
try.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
yep, don't worry, don't worry.
Just.
Let's go. Go for it.
That was empowering.
Right? And then once the side is finished, you're gonna put it in the container and you're gonna shake, shake, shake.
So should I take this one?
No, you
out?
don't have to.
Okay, cool.
You can, but you don't have
You
to.
don't have to.
No.
They all get a little extra shake. I like that.
Exactly.
This is great.
Right? And then let's take a peek. There's this one place. Do
Okay.
that. Hold on. Oh, crap. Excuse me.
Chef is busy, which is
Yeah.
great. Janelle, so it doesn't seem like this is your first time making roti.
It is.
Are you excited to
I just played
Yeah.
off.
have you guys, is this something that you've done before in the past with your family at all, or?
I've gone to my dad's house and it's ready. Actively participated in the making of it. So this is the first time for me.
Okay, let's go.
Fantastic.
You can't let it sit
Can't
too
let
long.
it sit too long.
And I actually have a question for you, Janelle, if you don't mind answering. What is the global majority?
Ooh, this is a good one. I like that question. So the global majority is actually anti-oppressive language. If we look at the total population of our world, racialized people make up the global majority. When we are in Western societies, we are looked upon as minorities. And so that is an oppressive use of language. And with Halton Black Voices in Kareerma, our mission is to change the narrative on how we view each other and how we see each other. We are the global majority. I think it's 80%, almost 90% of people on this earth are racialized. So it's embracing that language and taking us away from the margins.
Fantastic. Thank you for that clarification, Janelle. And I think it's important that language matters. And sometimes, like I certainly had not heard of the global majority until recently. And so I had some of the very same questions. So thank you so much for clarifying that for us.
So yeah, we're almost finished. We're gonna just do 2 more. I don't know how you all are doing over there with yours. And yeah, we're almost finished. And we're gonna plate it, and you're gonna see how it's gonna look. But you can plate it any which way you like. Now recipes, I love to tell people recipes. Once you get to know it, just make it your own. Now with pastries and stuff like that, it's kind of like with roti. There's only so much you can do. But with the curry now, you can add now with the chickpeas and you can add the chicken to this. You can add the goat to this with it straight like that, right? And you can add your proteins like that. But again, this is plant-based. You're getting a lot of proteins from this anyways, right? But if you wanted to add, shrimp cooks very quickly, so I would say add that right at the end because shrimp cooks in like 2 minutes. Right, so you want to add that at the end. If you're going with any meat, halfway through with the chicken, you can add the chicken to that. Now, if you want to do it goat takes 2 to 3 hours to cook down. So you want to do that separately, and then you have the curry and the chana there. And then if you want to have a full Trinidadian roti meal, there's pumpkin, there's string beans, something we call choka, tomato choka or eggplant choka. I like the tomato one. I'm not a fan of it. But it's good though. And you can have that all together on the plate and just pick as you're going. And it's so pretty. It's such a pretty set of food, so it's not just one color, and people eat with their eyes, right? So you want to have color in there and everything else.
I like that. People eat with their eyes.
They do. We really do. So I'm going to do the last one, and then we're going to plate it. Oh, look at, show them that.
Ooh.
So after we clapped it or shook it.
After it's been in the bin. and it gets released.
In the bin.
It's like this.
I just been in the bin. Just gonna blow that down. Then it looks like this, and you can
break it apart, right?
break it apart. See how? Oh, look at that. See what you're talking about, Nabil? The flakiness,
yes.
right? Look. Oh, well, first of all,
How is it?
it tastes good. Right? And it's just like, imagine you could just took some flour and water and made this delicious flatbread, right? We have one more to go, and then we're gonna just show you how it looks, and we're good to go. Thank you, Chef Laura. You are an amazing roller. Any questions, Nabil? From
We don't have any more questions, chef, but I'm wondering if you can tell me just a little bit about just your background and why you got into the food and being a chef and what inspired you and sort of what is it that you're doing these days?
Okay, so what inspired me to cook was my mom. My tagline is, Mom had me cooking since the 80s. So being a 70s baby and first generation, when we're here, a lot of our parents were working. I don't know about, Tanya, you were latchkey. Were you latchkey? Latchkey kids. So we came home and we had to at least have something started, whether it was taking the meat out of the freezer. There's a running joke on memes on like social media about taking the meat out of the freezer, because if it wasn't out the freezer, you weren't eating.
Yeah.
You didn't take it out, I'm not cooking, right? So I was about 10 and I started doing that, and I said, you know what, I want to learn more. So my mom started teaching me how to cook. Funny enough, when I moved out and stuff, I was living on my own and everyone would come by me. So the pre-party was always at my place with food, right? Mm-hmm. And you would think at that point, let's go to culinary school. No, we didn't do that. We took business 101, which turned out to be good. So then I got married and I realized, oh wait, I was watching a show and I'm like, I could do that. Let's do that. So I went back to school, went to culinary school, got my basic and my advanced, and then here I am. I went back to school in the year 2000, 21 years later. And now I have a restaurant. I opened up during the pandemic. There's a lot more to the story in there in between, but let's just fast forward. I opened up a restaurant downtown. It's a Caribbean fusion restaurant. And why it's fusion? Because there's so many foods I love, and I love the Caribbean culture as well. So I just like to fuse everything. Like I have spring rolls, and instead of having the regular spring rolls, I have curry goat spring rolls, or I have jerk chicken spring rolls, right? I even have, for the vegans, I have a curry chana and potatoes or callaloo and pumpkin. And then one of my best sellers outside of the spring rolls is my jerk chicken lasagna. So I love lasagna, jerk chicken, merge it, bestseller, sells out every day. So yeah, that's just pretty much,
Wow.
the short story. Started off with my mom. She passed away in 2002, so she hasn't really gotten to see me here. But I keep doing it for her and my children, and yeah.
That is. Thank you, chef, for sharing. That is so awesome, and I've never thought of jerk chicken and lasagna until you just mentioned it.
We're gonna have to have you back on.
Right? Exactly. So I'm just gonna play this one that we already touched and everything. So literally, you can have it like that still. Just put it to the side. This is a big one. Just put it to the side. And then just add your curry, chana, and your potatoes. And then we are going to, thank you, darling. Now, ladies, come. Let's all take a little piece. Come on, Chef Laura. Take a little piece. Take it. And just stick your hand in there.
Oh my gosh, this looks delicious.
All right, go ahead.
Smells amazing.
Go ahead. And then we're going to just listen to the sound effects as we come off camera to put it in.
We'll try not to be too loud.
Try not to be too loud. There you go. And you see, just very easy, right?
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
So good. Right? Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, so we're finished now?
That I think what we just saw right now is so beautiful because that's kind of what cooking is all about and bringing people together and sharing a meal. And I think something like chickpeas and potato chana masala with roti, like it's very much of a communal experience, right?
Exactly. And then, like African culture, and even some Indians, they eat with their hand too. They sit down, and they have the big plate of food and just pass it around, and it's just beautiful. I know we can't do that as much as we used to unless you're in your family, but it is, like you said, very communal, and very just let's eat together. Even if you're not doing it that way, just having a nice meal together with your family or your friends, awesome.
Perfect. And Chef, one of the questions we have for you, I know you touched on it a little bit, but if you could recap, like you talked about the Jamaican curry, the Trinidadian curry, the Guyanese curry, and how they have a better mix with certain type of dishes. If you can just go over that one more time, Kara would love to know.
Okay, for me, that's my opinion, and you actually agreed a little
I
bit.
agree.
I feel like Jamaican curry on goat is amazing, amazing. Personally, I feel like the Trinidadian curry with chicken and the chana and potatoes is like amazing. Now Guyana has a curry that is specifically for goat. It's actually really good. It's really up there with the Jamaican curry. I feel as a non-Jamaican or non-Guyanese person, I really do like them. But you can mix and match. I don't use big box store curry, and I don't think
Support local.
support local
You
curry.
You can definitely find local Caribbean or African or Indian grocery stores
yeah.
all across Halton. Quick Google search and go out and support. And when you go in there, you can even ask because they'll know, right?
Yeah.
You can go in and get all the seasonings, not just curry, because we use tons of different
We
seasonings.
did, and the
today.
all-purpose is there in any of those places. The all-purpose is there. That gives it that extra. You can always put fresh. Fresh is great, but I also like to always add the dry just in case, just to give it that little extra kick. So I put in fresh garlic, but I also put garlic powder. We had the black pepper and the salt, no salt. We actually didn't use any salt today. We had the black pepper and the thyme. Like I said, if you don't have fresh thyme, you can use dry thyme. Now, if you really want to go all out, you can get pimento seeds, put in there, bay leaves, that gives it another flavor. There's so many things, but this was just a quick, very straightforward, very basic one. I added little things that are from my home, being brought up. So I did the green seasoning, but that's just the peppers and everything already blended up, right? If you don't want to do that, you can just add it to it fresh.
Perfect. So to recap, chef's recommendation is if you have Jamaican curry, then that goes really well with goat. And if you have Trinidadian curry, which you can purchase at any West Indian grocery store, that goes really well with chickpeas, the dish that we made, and with chicken. And then Guyanese curry goes also really good with goat, almost up there with the Jamaican curry. So what I'm hearing is there's really no wrong way of using that curry in any sort of ways.
Really
It's a
isn't.
personal preference. So maybe for all of us, we should just go to our local store, local West Indian grocery store, grab all three of those curries, try it out, and see what works best for us.
Exactly. Exactly. And I don't want to get in trouble with my Jamaican and Guyanese friends. I said, up there. Tie it together.
Tie it all, mix it all in.
Mix it all in together. So I just said, let's just bring it all together.
Does curry go well with lamb?
Yes. Oh my God.
So what curry would you recommend?
Any.
Any, okay.
Any.
There you go, Kara,
Oh
any.
my gosh, curry lamb. Have you had that?
No.
Oh, Daniel said yes. You should try. You should try a curry lamb. Oh, now I want lamb.
I know, right? I love lamb.
Why'd you say that?
Sorry. Someone asked.
Oh, someone.
And chef, could we use lamb? Let's say because you said you could add chicken. Could you add lamb to this particular recipe that we made, and it would
Sure can. Cook the lamb first though, because this doesn't take long to cook at all. This
You
actually was
cooked the lamb first, okay.
so cook the lamb first. Pretty much any meat cook first. Shrimp and chicken
Cook
goes really quickly, so you can cook it with it.
I
The chicken with it, the shrimp I would say add it in right at the end because that'll cook in like 2 minutes. And then you don't want it too rubbery because shrimp can get very
Yeah.
rubbery very quickly.
Right. Fantastic. And guys, if our participants watching, if there's any other questions, feel free to use the chat box, or even if you want to unmute yourself and just ask a question to Chef, or just even share your experiences, feel free to do so. We're coming to a close. Is there anything else that we're missing, Chef, that we haven't talked about or identified?
No, well, no, we got everything. Now, if you don't want to do all of this, the roti, the same curry tastes very nice with some white rice. I like white rice with curry. That's just me. And a nice coleslaw. Woohoo! And you're perfect. So if you don't want to go through all of this, you can make some rice.
Make some rice with it, yeah.
And it'll be just as delicious.
I don't know why you wouldn't want to. This like it just seems like such an awesome experience. And is the coleslaw to balance the heat?
Yes, yes.
And that could be store bought, or would you make
Store-bought,
your own?
I make my own, but you could do store-bought. No, make your own. It's not hard.
Fantastic.
Just get the bag of already chopped up coleslaw and just add your stuff to it.
Mm-hmm.
Or do like me and buy cabbage or chocolate.
Don't want to spend all that time chopping.
I know. I do it every day.
This was amazing.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Yeah. Did you want to open it up to maybe some questions? Or
Yeah, if there's any questions, guys, use the chat box below, or unmute yourself and feel free to ask a question directly to Chef Kareerma or Janelle. And so we can open up the floor for the next couple of minutes for any questions if you guys have any.
Most people are shy.
yeah,
They don't ever ask.
I
They
think
ask.
they're mesmerized, to be honest with you.
yeah.
They ask after.
Chef, at your restaurant, can people order this for curbside pickup?
In advance,
Okay.
because I don't make it every day. I don't make it every day because it's a lot. So if you call in advance and say you want some roti, I for sure can do that for you.
That's amazing.
Yeah, give me like 24 hours. I got you. But to have it on, no. We are not a roti shop, but we do make roti. I thought I saw a question. Was there a question there?
We have a comment from Kara who's just saying this was awesome. It felt like a personal cooking class. So Chef Kareerma, Janelle, thank you so much for making that happen. And Kara, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you for that, Cara.
Perfect. If there is no other questions, I think we're at a great point to say a massive thank you to everybody. That's Halton Black Voices. What's the name of your restaurant, Chef?
Duh. Thank you, Cara. It is Chef Kareerma, Caribbean Fusion. We are located downtown Toronto, 203 Dundas Street East. One
And your
block.
website?
My website is chefkareerma.com.
Are you on Uber Eats and Skip the Dishes?
I'm on Uber Eats because we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm on Uber Eats.
All right, Uber Eats, chefkareerma.com, Toronto location. And again, huge shout out to you, Chef Kareerma. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us here today and share with us all your expertise. A huge shout out to Food for Life for all the ingredients that they shared with us. A huge shout out to YMCA of Oakville, and then also, for the town to be able to host this. We would love to see many more of this happen, guys, because I think this is it's so interesting when we talk about different cultural cuisines and how those things can bring us to the table and have conversations. So we find out what the term global majority means and why that's important and why language is important. And then we do so over a really well-cooked, delicious meal that all of us can enjoy and share. So with that, guys, I thank you so much. And I think I mentioned also a huge shout out to Halton Black Voices. I don't know if I mentioned that, but a huge shout out to them. And so guys, take care. Until next time, goodbye for all of us and happy eating.
Happy eating.
We are going to be happily eating. Bye-bye.